You're doing 190 miles an hour. It is almost 2 in the morning. Your hands are locked on the wheel, not from fear, but from pure adrenaline. To your left, a car is inches from your door. To your right, the wall. Below you, a painted yellow line you cannot even see from inside the cockpit. You have half a second to decide, and you take it. 0.3 of a second later, you cross the finish line believing you have just clawed your way into one of the biggest results of your career. You are wrong. In 30 seconds, a man in a headset is going to erase it, and he is going to tell the world it was never even close. This is Atlanta, in the early hours of July 13, 2026. The race was the Quaker State 400 at Echo Park Speedway, and nothing about this night went the way it was scheduled. A lightning delay froze the race at lap 109. The red flag lasted more than 3 hours. The race did not restart until nearly midnight, and the checkered flag did not fly until almost 2 a.m. Monday. Most fans on the East Coast were asleep for the ending of one of the wildest finishes of the year. What they woke up to changed a championship race. Ryan Blaney dominated the night, leading 171 of 263 laps for his second win of the season. But this is not Blaney's story. This is the story of the man chasing him. Before we get into the chaos, if you are new here, this channel is NASCAR Voltage, and we are closing in on 500 subscribers. Every single one of you watching right now is part of getting us there, so if this breakdown pulls you in, hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment below. Your support is exactly what allows us to keep bringing you detailed, honest coverage like this. Now, back to the story. Bubba Wallace had a night worth remembering, right up until it was taken from him. He fought through a strong opening stage, climbed into the top 5, even led laps and took the position briefly from Blaney. Then came the flashpoint in stage 2, a block on teammate Ty Gibbs, contact, and a spin that cost him valuable stage points. That moment would return later with consequences no one saw coming. After the spin, Wallace rebounded. In his own words, really good day. Got spun there by the number 54 and rebounded. That's another race for Bubba Wallace and company. It was the emotional high point of his night, right before everything fell apart. The final restart came in overtime. Carson Hocevar led the field, so confident that he was reportedly singing on his radio. Down the backstretch, the field went 3 wide. Wallace dipped below the double yellow line, popped back up, and suddenly found himself racing Blaney and Hocevar side by side for the win. Christopher Bell gave Blaney a massive shove from behind, a push that ultimately decided the race. Wallace crossed the finish line second. He celebrated. Then came the review. Blaney, who did not fully grasp what happened around him in real time, later described it this way: "Bubba gave me really good shoves." Bubba went 3 wide bottom down the back, which lined up for a really cool finish at the line. Behind the scenes, NASCAR officials were already pulling the tape. The rule in question is Section 8.3.2 of the NASCAR Rule Book. If NASCAR determines that a vehicle goes beneath the double-painted lines to improve its position, it will be black flagged. Officials ruled Wallace had done exactly that. His finish dropped from 2nd to 29th, the last car on the lead lap, a swing of 27 points. Blaney found out live during his post-race interview, when a reporter informed him of the ruling. His reaction: "Or, that sucks." But Bubba Wallace was not done. What he said next split the fanbase in half. Wallace mounted a full defense, built on intent and data. "It says advancing your position, which I did not do," he said. "I stayed third, and I was all over the brakes to make sure I did not advance." He continued, "I turned down and got super loose, so just to keep it straight, I ended up there. You can go back and look at the SMT. I was all over the brakes trying to just get the spot back." He pointed directly at the wording of the rule. It says don't go below the yellow line to gain a position, which I didn't. I was still third and I got a shove from the 54 to go to second. So technically, no positions were gained doing that. Wallace, crew chief Charles Denike, and performance director Dave Rogers spent roughly 31 minutes in the NASCAR hauler, presenting video and telemetry to fight the call. It did not change the outcome. As Wallace put it afterward, a penalty is a penalty. NASCAR's side of the argument carried equal weight. Cup Series Managing Director Brad Moran confirmed the penalty could not be appealed, stating the rule book was clear on the infraction. NASCAR Vice President of Racing Communications Mike Ford, speaking on the Hauler Talk podcast, addressed Wallace's defense directly. Unfortunately for Bubba and anybody attempting to give the position back does not matter in this rule. If you go below the line and race below the line to improve your position, that's where it happens. Ford also revealed that officials saw Wallace briefly in the lead during the move, meaning NASCAR viewed the advancement as clear regardless of where the maneuver ended. He doesn't have to actually make the pass while under the line, Ford said. You just need to be a quarter of an inch ahead of the next car, and that's improving your position, and it was pretty clear to us. Kevin Harvick, on the speed broadcast with Will Buxton, backed the ruling but questioned the rule itself. When you see him go from behind those cars to beside those cars, it's pretty hard to argue that you don't have an advantage in advancing your position, Harvick said. Yet he added, I don't know that we really need the double yellow line rule at Atlanta. I don't think it's really like Daytona and Talladega in a certain sense. Even the man defending NASCAR was not fully comfortable with how the rule applied at this track. Denny Hamlin, Wallace's own team co-owner at 23XI Racing, was forced to play both sides. When I watched it, I was thinking that that's definitely going to be a penalty, because I've been penalized for it before, Hamlin said on his Actions Detrimental podcast. So he technically did gain, he gained the lead at some point of the move, and that sucks because he lost a lot. Hamlin also offered sympathy for the driver's perspective from inside the car. When I'm going on the backstretch at Atlanta, the difference between the apron and the actual racetrack, there's not much difference in banking. The drama did not end with the penalty. It reignited the earlier Stage 2 collision with Ty Gibbs. After the race, Wallace confronted his fellow Toyota driver on pit road. He had the opportunity to give there a lot, and he didn't do that, Wallace said. He quickly went on the defense and said, "Don't block." Wallace's closing line carried no ambiguity, "When you hit me square in the bumper, it means you just run right into me." The block was clean. So yeah, that's Toyota teammates. Don't race very well together. Gibbs offered a different account. I went to tell him I'm sorry because he cleared himself, and then unfortunately, he showed a lot of disrespect, Gibbs said. I just tried to help him out there at the end, push him to win, but it didn't happen. The irony is direct, the same driver who spun Wallace out in Stage 2 delivered the very shove in the final 50 yards that NASCAR penalized. Hamlin, caught between his driver and his co-owner role, ultimately sided with Gibbs. I just don't think that's a reasonable ask of anyone. If Ty does get on the binders there, he puts himself in danger to help you, and I don't think anyone is signing up for that. Online, the reaction split just as sharply. Bob Pockrass, a veteran NASCAR insider, posted the exact wording of the rule on X, noting that NASCAR likely ruled Wallace violated the first clause even without completing a pass. Fan commentary online questioned the ruling directly, with one user writing that Wallace didn't advance a position, just advance the time gap position, and arguing NASCAR needed clearer wording. Another fan, reacting to onboard footage from Christopher Bell's car, called the penalty even more questionable. Beneath all of it sat a second layer of frustration. Many fans were simply angry that NASCAR restarted a red-flagged race close to midnight, when most of the country was already asleep. The stakes extend well past Atlanta. Wallace entered the race 77 points above the playoff cut line. He left with only 55. Without the penalty, he would have been sitting at 82. As Wallace acknowledged, everybody behind us in points is like, oh, 23. They see that and they're licking their chops. 6 regular season races remain: North Wilkesboro, Indianapolis, Iowa, Richmond, New Hampshire, and Daytona, with Daytona standing as the wildcard that could erase this cushion in a single crash. Adding to the irony of the night, Hamlin clinched his own playoff spot under the same roof where his teammate was fighting to keep his. NASCAR says the rulebook proves Wallace advanced his position, and Ford's own account shows officials saw an advancement even before Wallace crossed the line. Wallace says the telemetry proves he braked, held his position, and that the final push into second was not his decision, it was Ty Gibbs' bumper. Both cannot be right, and NASCAR has already made clear there is no appeal left to settle it. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next, because in 6 days, this exact same team rolls into North Wilkesboro with a target on their back. Drop your verdict in the comments. Did Bubba Wallace get robbed, or did he get caught fair and square? Share this video with a fellow NASCAR fan who needs to see this breakdown, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.